This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by G&G Armament and TSD Airsoft. Welcome back to Airsoft GI TV. My name is Tim, and right now what we're going to do is compare these two propellants for your gas guns, green gas and propane. We'll start with some pros and cons, and then we'll move on to a shooting test, and then I'll show you how to mix your propane and your silicone if you choose to go that route. But we'll start with green gas first. Number one, it's made for airsoft, so it's very user-friendly. Plug it into your gun or plug it into your magazine, load it up, and you're good to go. There's no mixing of gases or anything like that. However, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find, and it is much more expensive. They usually range in price anywhere from $10 to $15 per 1,000 milliliter bottle. Propane. Pros. Much cheaper. This size bottle will cost you anywhere between $2 and $5 depending on where you get it. Also, there are many more uses for propane other than airsoft, so you can find it everywhere. Whereas green gas, you can have to pretty much buy it at an airsoft store. However, some cons with propane. Since it's not made for airsoft, you have to mix the silicone into it yourself. Otherwise, you run the risk of breaking your gun. Something related to that is that the initial cost of the propane adapter is going to cost more than a can of gas, usually between $18 and $22. Another con with propane is that it smells really bad. An odorant is added to propane because it's extremely flammable and it's heavier than air. So the manufacturers of these propane bottles add an odorant in there so you can smell it when it's around so you don't blow yourself up. Now, these two gases are very similar. It's just that this has silicone mixed into it already. They should perform in the similar fashion, but that's what we're here to find out. This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by Echo One USA. Alright, here we are outside. We're going to test the propane versus green gas magazine. I have this magazine loaded up with green gas and .20 gram BB, so we'll see what it chronos in the new 4.3 Desert Warrior. Alright, it looks like we're looking at an average of about 250 to 260 FPS with green gas from the Desert Warrior 4.3. It's important to note that we're not chronoing the gun. We're looking for a difference, if any, between green gas and propane. That was green gas. I have another magazine loaded up with propane, so let's fire it. It looks like propane did maintain a little higher FPS through the Desert Warrior 4.3. Let's head back inside and I'll show you how to mix your propane with silicone. Filling up your magazine with green gas is a very simple procedure. You just insert the nozzle into the valve and push down, and then you're good to go. Propane requires a little bit more preparation though. This is a TSD propane adapter, and the top, or the nozzle, unscrews to reveal a reservoir inside for which you're supposed to put silicone spray. Okay? So take your silicone needle, fill this reservoir up, and put the nozzle back in. That way when you charge the magazine, the propane will push the silicone into the magazine. There are a couple of different types of propane adapters. Mad Bull makes another design with a stem that you unscrew and you insert the silicone that way. If you have a propane adapter that does not have an oil port or some sort of reservoir to fill, the only other way that I can think of that you can fill your magazine properly with propane is to push the valve open. Push the valve open and insert the silicone directly into the nozzle, like this. In my opinion though, if you're going to use propane, you'd be wise to get a TSD propane adapter or a Mad Bull version 2 adapter with a silicone oil port so that it's easier to mix your silicone and propane together. So, in conclusion, if you don't want to hassle with mixing your own propane and you don't mind spending a little extra money, green gas is probably the propellant for you. However, if you don't mind putting up with the smell and you want to save money in the long run because you use your gas pistols a lot, you may want to consider getting a propane adapter and going with propane. I'm Tim from Airsoft GI, and I'll catch you guys next time. I know a ghost! where do we apply for the missionary position? I've got gas.
Ready?
I have gas. Have you ever heard the saying? I've been trying to figure this out with Gene. Is it sort of like is it like a filling of the gas type thing? Or is it like a stand back and aim and try to like, you know, like a circus game?